After that initial contact, I like to talk to the entrepreneur. So if we've only corresponded by email, we'll set up a time to talk. Maybe it's half an hour. You can tell me a bit more about who you are, about how the business model works. And then if I think that there's a potential fit, I'll usually tell you that I'd like a few more questions answered. And this is when I will really go through everything you've given me in much more detail and start generating some questions as a result of that. Maybe you've told me that you have impact with students in primary schools, but I want to know exactly how you know you've had impact. So I'll ask you a little more pushy questions on the impact area, on maybe what your strategy really is, on maybe I'll ask you a bit about your last job, of why you think you can now run this business, or how you've been successful so far. And then what I'll do is I'll take that to my team and I'll have those answers and I'll talk to my regional team of what they think, and if they like it, then we as a group decide to move forward, and I'll present a summary of this opportunity to my partners in headquarters. And if that's successful, we go through even deeper due diligence, and eventually, usually after 6 to 8 months, it could result in an investment. So afterwards, we have 3 stages of due diligence. At the beginning, it's the summary document to give everybody on my global team an idea of what the company does, whether it fits, so we can decide whether it fits into the portfolio, whether there are learnings we can take from other companies in the portfolio to evaluate it. And if it goes through that, we go deeper and we do a competitive analysis. We do an analysis on the sales strategy. We do analysis on the plan going forward over the next 3 to 5 years, whether we think that's reasonable. We do a deep dive into the financials to understand what kind of margins you have, what will happen to those over time, whether the growth in revenue is reasonable or not. And then we have so we use that information to produce an intermediary report where we now come back to the partners and say, okay, this is what the company looks like. And if that's approved, we go another step deeper and do more interviews with experts to get comfortable, and we start negotiating the terms with the company. If it's a company of an education, we'll reach out to experts we know in the field. Maybe it's other impact investors that have done something similar in the area. Maybe we go and interview teachers on the ground in this particular country. So it's the time in the process where we're on the ground, spending days with the entrepreneurs, understanding absolutely everything we can, and only then can we get comfortable enough to start talking about terms and eventually through to an investment decision.